Okay, let's make an effort. I felt a lot of pain for some of you. The snake. Yeah, it's pain in the heart, probably to do with longing and genuine love for someone. How do we know it's genuine? See, she's usually very independent, quite capable and skilled, fiery, courageous, determined, empowered, independent, wise. So since it's a 7, we're moving into a 6. It's about, obviously, either some form of justice, resolution, clarification, answers. She will not move forward. She wants what she wants. This is not someone who gives up on something that's constantly revealed to her as being important. I think she spotted deception at one point. Yeah, she was quite quick to spot deception or dishonesty, and she may have even genuinely confronted someone to tell me what's up, or what is this, what are we, what's going on, what's happening, speak to me now, forever, even if it kills me. It's now or never. Someone couldn't speak, someone probably younger, who had their heart chakra blasted open, in awe, absolutely mesmerized. This is also the energy of those who feel that something is being done onto them. Usually when there's this kind of a connection and the feminine is rather more mature or of acknowledged beauty, charisma, charm, wisdom, intelligence, etc., usually here, at least in this land, they accuse witchcraft. She has to be a witch, right? Because her intention is powerful. She's just that kind of an advanced feminine that if she were to choose to try and convince someone or to allure, mesmer, she has the capacity to do so. Did she do it? No, I don't think she did. Yeah, she warned. This is the snake that warns, lifts her head and I'm warning you now. It's because she cares. Otherwise she would have just bitten him, poisoned him, and therefore they would be together. But no. She didn't want to do it. Powerful connection here. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio for the masculine. Strong in their chart. For the very least, this speaks of a connection that is rather magical, as in it's so intense. It's a spiritual connection. It's karmic as well. And extremely passionate and not just physical. The pull is just... Okay, let's move forward. We're moving into 24. Choices in regards to what one wants to build on, who they are, what they want to do. Someone needs to choose how they're going to live based on this important choice that they're making. Definitely this feminine, past energy, spoke clearly about who she is, her intentions, and that she showed her other aspect where she's drawing lines. She said, I'm choosing not to go there. I don't want to go there. We're not going to play this game. She definitely set out her boundaries, stood her ground, spoke clearly, honest, courageous, direct. And her heart was also literally in her hand as she spoke at the same time. Wow. Okay. Again, this masculine is absolutely... he's in love. His heart is hers. It's just, why is he so, he has this perception of her, which is not entirely wrong, whereas she does have the potential once. If she were to no longer want him, for this would break him. So this is a case of, I would rather, run the other way or sabotage this rather than, being destroyed by this, by her, just hanging on to one single choice or word that she made. He's distrustful as well. He's fearful, most likely, because since his heart is so open, he feels so exposed and vulnerable. This is a vulnerable state to be in, actually. And he is dealing with an extremely powerful feminine. It may challenge his masculinity as well. Toxic masculinity, most likely. Dynamics in previous connections, whereas he was allowed or granted to some extent to exert some role of either dominance or false sense of control. It gave him more security in knowing that he has a feminine that is rather easily subdued or controlled or manipulated. He gets them. He knows how they work, and any other type of feminine. But this one, he knows it's game over. There's no playing here. He was probably stuck in playing, love games, and it's not working. He met the real deal here. He acknowledges he knows it. Garden, 8 of Swords. He either withheld information or was deceitful in regards to something, attempting to kind of live this feminine or block her or convince her something, or in the practical this translates with a possible attempt to him himself as well, at least energetically express this love he felt for her, but that translated with some form of a restriction, conditioning. He attempted to play that usual role of the toxic masculine, treated her not as an equal, not as who she is, but as someone to either be ruled, controlled, and because this is how he exerts the masculine. It's not that far from the natural role, except this wasn't the case. This is someone who either you meet them at their same level, you don't disrespect them, you don't trample their dignity in any way, you don't try and impose things, take them for a fool, or use strategies with. This is raw, straightforward truth that she embodied here. Take it or leave it. And he just couldn't. This conditioning, he may have also tried to discuss, or there is something here that's actually revealed in the sense of he was ready to go public with this connection, regardless of their current, romantical situation or marital status, even other commitments. He was absolutely not intending of giving up on this connection. But the way he went about it, he either made a proposal or tried to direct or steer this connection, how it's going to unfold once the connection in the heart occurred. They both acknowledged and expressed what they felt, even beyond words per se. Or when it came down to communication, she said, whoa, stay right there. Okay, we got to talk. And he couldn't. He chose deception. Sometimes it's also an evading, kind of a mysterious almost, that's kind of like it's calling bullshit. You're withholding something, you're trying to hide something, you're using strategy and manipulation here. One after the other, no matter how that's feminine, can be patient. She can sit in the grass and wait. In this case, not for a prey, even though he may feel as if he's being hunted. Yep. He may feel that, oh, she's gonna lock me down, and he's terrified about. Yeah, she is. Not because she intends to, because this is the connection. This is your counterpart. She can sit alone right there. No need for any other connection. It's kind of the energy, if it's not them, it's no one else. I'm fine. I'm going to sit right here. Anyone else approaches, I'm going to bite them. They're going to feel my sting. He feels a powerful connection. even if they're not together physically, he feels her. He still feels her, constantly thinking about her. And I also feel he knows that she's alone. I think he didn't reach out, even though I feel there's that level of care and wanting to nurture, because he acknowledges that she can take care of herself. She doesn't know how to be a masculine, because it clashes with whatever he was taught or conditioned to believe that a masculine should do, based on his previous interactions with other types of feminine at other stages and so on. So he needed the feminine to need him. But here there was clear acknowledgement, not only that she does not need me, I'm actually terrified of realizing that I may actually feel that I need her. Oh no, my ego cannot tolerate that. She's supposed to need me. This is someone who has no need for me, per se. So there's either gossiping and a lot of talk about this. This is an extremely extroverted, genuinely kind and compassionate, always everybody's friend, very loving person, joyful, expansive, extremely friendly and generous, that may have actually attempted to talk, and there's some influencing and conditioning here. Usually people such as him are a great friend or asset or family member to have around, right? Because many will exploit this overall kind nature of theirs. And I believe he also reached some level whereas he doesn't even believe that someone actually does not want something from him. He's so used to it, and it comes so close to his very natural state of being, that it doesn't mean he's a fool. He knows when someone is exploiting him, but he struggles to actually, break those patterns, cut those people out and so on. I thought, well, this is life. I love helping others, no matter if they're gonna think that they outsmart me or I'm a fool or they play me, it's fine. They're generally very loving person, but when it comes to actual connection, they're terrified of it, because as it is, this is someone who has been constantly exploited for their overall generous and giving nature. So there are influences here that constantly try and guide him, and almost as an exchange for all the actual tangible help and support and that he's given. And instead what they did is they boxed him in. So therefore that's where he spoke out of, or rather being unable to speak. He feels his hands are tied. So he was taking things in a direction, I feel almost as if trying to genuinely see if this was the call for them to not out front come out and say, hey, I think this is, I want to take this chance. But trust me. Trust me. His plan was rather unconventional. It didn't make sense. Presented a risk of failure, very dangerous, and he didn't communicate with the feminine. So the feminine said, no, I stand right where I'm at. I think he was seeking for a way to, I wouldn't say kind of make everybody happy. I think he would have ultimately talked about this and was willing to live it fully in the light of day. But the initial stage that or offer that he initially made, presented this air of secrecy, of unconventional, of optional, or dishonest, or confused, or whatever he proposed, almost as if he proposed to, via communication, or again, lack thereof, or him just shutting down when actually asked a direct question or being told something specifically. He shut down, or either tried to kind of laugh it off, or I think he did intend to follow this through, even though he himself was again terrified of it. It's not like he really felt he had a choice to break away from this feminine. He wanted to explore this, but he wanted to separate two worlds. He was exploring a new self via this connection. But he didn't want to merge the two worlds, his social life, work. So he didn't give out. He gave his heart, but not information. He was stuck. He was kind of narrow thinking and minded and stuck on all the other people's views, needs, opinions, tactics that they used to keep him stuck and so on. And it kind of, she ended up paying the consequences of that. He doesn't know how to speak straightforwardly. He doesn't know how to deal with a feminine at this stage. He feels a lot of people would be disappointed, and that was the big revelation here. If he were to actually seek happiness, even if that means that he would no longer be available to others. Others that actually have no respect, nor much less love. They acknowledge his loving nature, but they're exploiting it, whether consciously or otherwise. This sometimes also speaks of clashes or conflict or gossiping, people meddling in other people's choices, life choices, especially love choices, whom they're going to partner with, up with, and who their counterpart is. This can be family, friends, colleagues, circling around, no way out. And this was something that was supposed to be kept on aside. He didn't want to merge the two worlds. So I guess there was kind of a low-key or a high-key, an acknowledgement of their life being absolute schlit. Surface levels connection, toxic patterns, people just not being honest or straightforward or not even caring about him per se. But this is all he's known. Playing the social games. And I feel he found some comfort because, again, it allowed him to be true to his very nature, that of giving. At this point, it stopped mattering whom he's giving to. Didn't care. He was just happy that he could give. Extremely generous, empathetic, and kind person that probably ended up exploited. So the secrecy is not because he doesn't acknowledge the feelings. It's because he needed to make a decision, probably in hopes that if this show proves to be real, if they would just have gotten the chance to explore this in such a manner where he didn't clash with this world, then he could actually make that choice at one point. Yeah. Wow. Okay. He was deceitful, yes. And he is constantly being deceived, and terrible advice that he's been receiving from family, friends, social circle, and so on. There is direct meddling here when it comes to a choice and an intention to blind someone or portray this feminine specific manner, putting words in. This happens all the time. Here is just so normal. Well, Balkan bloc, and I believe many other traditions have this. Whereas they're so used to someone being in a certain manner, especially if they're extremely extroverted and connected and caring and has what appears to be a strong support system, a rich social life, and all of a sudden he says, hey, I met someone, maybe she's older than me, or she's different, or she's... And everybody jumps to circle him with, concerns. And I guess there are many amidst those that, the intentions are genuine or just outright warnings about, based on their own experiences. And those are based on real facts. Yes, it can be dangerous out there. Yes, and so on. But also almost like mockingly telling him, you're always such a gullible person. When you fall in love, how they exploit you. Remember the last one, how we had to help you, gather the pieces and help you through it once she was done with you, and so on. So they probably use that as an example and through him and that trauma that he needed to work on and so on. Got stuck in the mind, couldn't see, he felt, yes, heart blasted open, but stuck, hands tied, Not really, because it's called for a choice here, right? There's a choice that's being called for. But in order for him to actually genuinely make his own choice, he has to break out of this pattern. I do strongly feel that this masculine at one point took it upon themselves to kind of cut everyone out, at least temporarily. This may also happen during lockdown or in some stage of the lockdown because of the Eight of Swords energy. And, you know, isolation, this is the garden and the choice. Everything he ever thought was true was called into question. So speaking of childhood trauma, the loss of faith and hope, distrusting energy, fear, very painful, coming to very painful realization or understanding from this masculine. So about deception, his own ways, how he learned those habits and patterns, etc. He actually acknowledges that she's in the right, that she was actually right, that she was absolutely right. He's got nothing against her, nothing. No matter what he tried or others threw, she's this, as they say here, oh, the witch, oh, the this, or... And I know they do that because they do it all the time when they feel the connection. And I also know that this usually is a twin. If they're that terrified to the point of calling you a witch, I know for a fact that they felt the connection. They're just terrified. And there's a lot of conditioning. I guess it's also cultural, as I was saying. Here it happens all the time. If it's not him, and if he actually goes through with the connection and dares to challenge their family, then it's going to be probably his mother, his sister, you name it. You name it. The neighbor will stop him. Oh, there's something different about you. Oh, yeah, I met someone. And rather than saying, oh, I see the light in your eyes. I see you happy. I see you. Oh, if they're happy, you know, that can be good. It must be witchcraft. In many cases, it actually is, but it's the kind of witchcraft that feminines nowadays don't even realize that they practice, and many masculines actually attempt to do that as well. Whereas there's obsessive thinking confused with actual genuine connection that's eternal. Even if there's separation, you will always think about their own well-being. You hope you're safe, and that's how you know you actually... The connection is genuine, because even though you're in pain, whenever you're in pain, it's not because of what they could give to you. It's rather the fact that you're not there to be able to take care of them, and you're genuinely concerned about them. That's the pain. So now there's a loss of innocence or joy. There's some painful realization or growth here about deception, self-deception, one's own personal habits, traits, character, communication issues here, right? Which we said he was highly problematic in their case, immaturity. There's a heaviness about what they actually intended to, how they were gonna go with this, that revealed how they actually truly felt and their intentions of proceeding and moving forward with this, but at the same time their fear of the connection itself, because it appeared as deceitful, as almost some form of a compromise, and she was like, you don't come to me with that nonsense. Like maybe it was going in a direction, whether directly said or otherwise, whereas again it would have translated as if this connection was something to either hide, be ashamed of, or it was almost conditional or transactional in a manner that renders something otherwise extremely beautiful into something to be ashamed of in some sense, or merely sexual or physical, which it was not, and the feminine refused to go there. We're not going to do that. But I love you, but this is not how we're going to do this. I don't know what games you're playing here, but this is not how I live. You live however you please, and even if it breaks me to 1,000 pieces, I raise my hands. So, what happened next? Loss. Yes, there was a terrible fear of loss, so there's definitely also frustration. There's heartbreak because of having lost someone due to immaturity and external influence, inability to actually take this as an opportunity to free themselves of, patterns that are no longer relevant. And as a matter of fact, they're preventing them from getting their heart's desires. Yep, the feminine stood her ground and he hates it. 7 of Wands and 5. Not even entering a conflict or, let's talk about, no, this is how, no, this is not, we're not going the right way here. She may have given him time and nothing changed. She couldn't turn it around. I believe that he came to awareness now. He's processing old wounds. He either experienced betrayal or clear revelation of his actual current life and how deceitful and controlling it is. And he kind of embodies same controlling attitude. And she said, boy, no, we're not doing this. We're acting, again, you see the secrecy energy that I feel? What are we? Why do we need to act? It was lack of transparency, of clarity, of maturity, of straightforwardness. But most importantly, he did not convey, when offered the opportunity, even though we can agree that this feminine wasn't the most, patient, or she just went straight to the point. She didn't show her own, ability to empathize, hold space, give him the time that he needed when he needed it. In her mind, yeah, I'm still here. But you never really gave them the chance to actually come around and go through this process. Whereas one day he would have picked up the phone and called, hey, I want to talk to you. I need to talk to you. When he went through that process, the feminine cut that opportunity from him. And that's where he's pissed. He wanted to. He reached that conclusion. He got it. But he couldn't convey it. You cut him out. So it's either blocked or, yeah. So there's a necessity to find a new way of being with one another here. Complicity and vulnerability and so on. She needs to be softer and kinder. And he needs to be brutally honest in his own pace as he's processing all of this, right? Yep, she's in masculine. He's in feminine. Deceitfulness. Again, someone is coming to the realization of how they were withholding or being closed off, and they went through their own process on realizing that that was actually true. She was right about everything. But being right doesn't mean, actually winning in the sense of being able to rekindle a connection. So it's kind of like you said what needed to be said and being on your way. And if he felt that she was being deceitful, and he's definitely seeing things from a whole different perspective now. He's redefining again everything he thought he knew about his own world, the relationships in his life, childhood, traditions, worldview, and so on. He's realizing that even if he tried to portray himself as a victim because you said no and he's still suffering, he doesn't know how to move past this, past you, to forget you. The heart is blasted open, I'm telling you. This person just, the feelings, it may be lifetimes. They will never change. Once it's open in this manner, it's... So, again, 5-5 is... He feels that he was never given an opportunity. And this is about, again, that tendency to try and start something on their own, hiding something from their current, and that wasn't the way to do it. So again, she was right. This is not how we're going to do this. You're either ready or you're not. He's starting to realize why you were so firm, so quick, so to the point, maybe even some level of gratitude, like, wow. Whoa, I see it now where she was coming from. And thank heavens she didn't give me that opportunity. I would have probably messed it up. Yeah, they're right. They would have messed it up. The sun in reverse, Ace of Pentacles. It would have amounted to nothing because the first seed planted in the ground, if the season is wrong, if the seed is wrong, and the intention and so on, there's lack of clarity, confusion, and overall happiness. There's probably depression. And again, it's genuine because it's loss of hope, loss of vision, right? Loss of dreams. So someone's reality did crumble here. It needed to happen. It was triggered by this feminine over here. Is he ready now? Yes. Harvest season. It looks terrible. He's ready to move on. This 10 will turn into a 1. There are no foundations. There's nothing, even if you wanted to build upon here. This is, as a matter of fact, is the season to call everything out. Let's cut it. Let's be done with it. And he's taking action in a very mature, practical kind of a manner. As in, he's taking action. This is not at an energetical level, at the stage of just coming to realization, of trying to communicate. No, he's just making moves, choices, important choices here. Important. There's a movement of transition, but also clarity, understanding, elevation, but also going against the current, breaking patterns, seeking for opportunities, exploration, vision, prosperity and abundance, also associated with the fish. Vision, intuition is spot on. And again, very serious masculine, has strong principles. He's realizing that his principles, he's probably been constantly either convinced to or redefined or have been defined by others and so on, whereas he constantly failed to hold up to them or to live by them because he lived by other people's definition of what life should be, what he is, who he should be, what he is not, what's for him, what's not for him. Very disempowering. You may have confused that with love, people giving you advice and This is going against stereotypes, so breaking out of stereotypes and in order to expand. And I guess it ties in with the concept there's plenty of fish in the sea. He has to realize that his life, people will be gone, others will be coming. He's changing his social environment. He realizes that he needs to find vision, to get back in touch with who he is, his principles, his values, and genuinely make an effort to remove whatever prevents him from living by those very values, so that he can actually start building something. There's someone highly capable, usually hardworking, self-made, extremely generous, a provider, a protected masculine energy. Pondering, analysis, evaluation, 7-7. Yeah, in the making. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy, Leo energy here. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio there. Scorpionic energy there. Fox is feminine energy. I think he's seeing this feminine now with a newfound respect. And why? Because there's no other kind of a feminine or person of this. This is a high quality feminine being, human person. It's the feminine of his dreams. It's his feminine, and he knows it. What will he do? Well, he found vision again. He's going north, the stars. This is healing, vision. This is gonna go full public, full on public. Start his life elsewhere, 7-7-7. Yeah. Embarking on a journey that aims towards what genuinely motivates him. Dreams coming true. A union of hearts, equal give and take, compassion, kindness, generosity. Marriage, engagement, higher levels of commitment, the love of a lifetime. This is an important relationship. 1 and 6 is finding adequate solutions, but also making moves in the sense of taking action, making the necessary changes, being willing to take chances, to risk, to invest, to walk in faith, to follow one's intuition and inner guidance as they look towards the sky. Going north, most definitely. The waters above to match the waters below, right? He's going from the heart. He's trusting his heart. And again, this is not at the level of mere vision